let's say there's us three.
Yeah.
And we want to start up a company. What are the best steps to go about it? Haven't got much money. How do you get the best legal representation?
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem, because like people expect that the Czech courts are like, in American movies, which is not like that
No,
at
of
all.
course
It's more formalistic. So
Very
actually,
much, yeah.
like, of course you need to stand your position and need to defend the client.
But I'm particularly interested in this kind of how you support people in David say, I mean, pro bono are probably charitable. Guys, welcome back. Season 2 of the Informatics podcast, episode
Kenny,
5.
Kenny, as you never get it right.
Yeah, we never get it right. Danny bought me a nice prop. So happy birthday podcast.
Well, it's kind of a podcast birthday, isn't it?
Well, it's something to remind me. I shall keep this right in front of us.
Well, just think when we get to Joe Rogan's status of 3,558
we'll have a lot of
million,
these. There'll be a lot
quite
of
a few
these
candles.
And
We need a
and all
budget for candles.
Yeah, that candle? I thought it was a gummy thing. Doesn't matter. So, Danny, of course, the business of the podcast this evening.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, it's not a podcast 2,558 million. But welcome to Info Matters podcast without the cat in it.
Yeah. Never gets the domain name right.
Anyway, for this week's show, we took a comment from the box a few weeks back, and someone asked us, because myself and Kenny have been in consultancy and had our own small businesses, what kind of legal problems you get into or challenges in local markets. So, before we get on to that, gives you a bit of a tip. Welcome back to those old, new, spicy and not spicy. If you're looking at getting into the world of IT, extelligence.com is in the box below. Please like, subscribe, forward to people you may believe would be interested in the show. Add your comments in the box below. If you want to be on the show, you want to win some fabulous merch, then you know where to get it. Extelligence is currently looking for, now this is a mouthful, for an Oracle AIM specialist. Now, for those in the know, we know is an identity access management. So if you know, you know. Yep. Anyway, Kenny, on to the part.
Yes, now, of course, we always ask the question, Danny, do we know Eva? Now, Khaled knows Eva.
Does. We don't.
We don't.
We don't. So we'd like to welcome Ivy.
Evie, a pleasure. Absolutely good to see you.
Welcome to the show. And in trait of season 2, we have some dolphin-friendly lip gloss for when you're in front of your client. And we ran out of laptops, so you've got Elon Musk has brought his new phone out. Costs a fortune. This doesn't. It is the Extelligence kid-friendly in the bath mobile phone. Only on this show, like and subscribe.
And for those who know, we've talked about cybersecurity in the past. This is entirely zero trust, and entirely safe. Good luck using that.
and if they had two, I'd have got myself one.
We might have more later. You know?
So, Kenny, we can start off. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, what do you do, why, and why you're here.
So, hi guys again. Thank you for inviting me.
Always.
It's exciting to be here. Yeah. So my name is Iva. I work in Macek Legal Law Office. We are based here in Prague. In the city center. You can recognize it by the nicest door on the street, so go ahead and explore.
Next to the non-nicest door on the street, as we discussed before. Hashtag
not that we would know, but yes.
Yeah, and so I'm an attorney.
Yeah.
Oh shit. On my side, I hope.
See ya.
Yeah, we specialize in, we are small, so we are focused on small and medium-sized companies.
Okay.
And our motto or claim is your full legal services for your business. So we can help with almost everything what small and medium-sized services need.
Yeah, and Danny and I have spent a lot of time in the SME part, serving larger companies. And a kind of key question.
Before that, why law? Did you want to, as a child, to be a ballerina or something? I mean, I didn't want to. I can't remember. I think I wanted to be a thief.
I wanted to be an accountant, and I'm glad I didn't do that.
There you go. Did you aspire always to help people in law? Or?
I actually wanted to be a gardener when I was little.
A gardener?
Yeah.
You got the colour for it.
Wow!
Look at me cabbages. There you go. So a gardener to a lawyer, an accountant to us,
to tech and all that kind of stuff.
I want to be a rock.
Surely you can maintain your gardening desires outside of work. I don't know. You never did that?
Well, your clients could be gardening firms.
I don't even have a garden now. It's just...
window box, city centre.
Exactly.
Well, there, you got that now. You can just look at the pretty colours. What are you doing, love? I'm playing in the bath.
Yeah. And I guess we should keep it, getting more into the subject of tonight's podcast, and of course going into, and based on what you know, Eva. I mean, we as small businesses, we usually find legal services when we need them, so it's more of a reactive, oh shit, something's happened type scenario. What would be kind of 3 to 5 things that you would advocate are best to do in a more proactive way? So starting a business can be anything. Danny and I have been in tech. Recruitment can be.
Go on, let answer it. Yeah. There we go. Otherwise, Kenny will give you 5. And I'll give you the next question.
I was giving you the subject matter, but I've got the things to do.
Only joking, mate.
I do that a lot.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people do that. They do find a lawyer when in crisis.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually like it can be much cheaper and easier to find a lawyer.
Do it the right way around.
To start with, have the contract set up properly, and then avoid any problems later.
And so when you do start up, I mean, I guess the company incorporation is obviously something you could assist with, that sort of stuff. But is there other preventative steps before you sign your first customer, before you sell your first product, that you think would be good? 1-2 steps to
like a checklist.
Like a checklist. Like you say, I'm going to say sales terms and
because I mean you've got small, an SME. Let's say small. Let's say there's us 3.
Yeah.
And we want to start up a company. Mm-hmm. What are the best steps to go about it? You got, haven't got much money. How do you get the best legal representation?
Yeah.
So I think if it's free of you, it's probably the best to set up a company.
Yep.
So I think that's the best way. Like the first step when you need a lawyer, when you're setting up a company, I think it's crucial to make it right, like at the beginning, to decide like how the company is gonna work, what type of company you will need. So that would be the first step, I think, and then you set it right, and then you just continue with the business.
Got it. And I imagine everything kind of ensues. Continues.
Get it?
I know. I see what I did there. Yeah. And then you can kind of call upon these the things that you need on demand. So I imagine that your relationship with a young company starts at the start, and you have it, and you fulfil some rolling needs. So employment contracts might be the next port of call. Terms, sales contracts, all this sort of stuff. Multiple language.
Well, I was going to say, how difficult is it? I mean, you're clearly a multinational company or multilingual multinational company. Yeah. A lot of companies or people that we meet are entrepreneurs from a different country. There's clearly a language barrier. Mm-hmm. How does that play a part in this? How easy is it to get legal representation from the start if you come to a country and go,
you're not native language
fork? Or Dopperella.
And you're going to do
Shine hunt in Germany. Exactly. Or bloody hell in Pakistan. As it may be.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your advice? What's your checklist? What should we do? What do we do as an example?
I think in general it's more difficult for expats to start a business here as they don't know so much of the legal background or the business background. But a lot of law offices, they focus on expats. We focus on expats as well. We have cooperation with them a lot. So we know,
does that mean that a lot of your business is not Czech? I mean, obviously the law is based on Czech law, but you transact in English and other languages. Yes, that's fair to say.
Do we pay more?
Yeah. No. Well, maybe actually with some law offices.
I was going to say, because I remember a time where the menu would be in Czech cheaper and in English more expensive. I've been here 280,000 years, back when dinosaurs were square.
Yeah, and it didn't matter if you're buying pizza or legal services, there was still a menu for both, if that makes sense.
Hey, come home and go, slice of pizza, 10,000 crowns, hat nailed on.
I know with some doctors you have to pay if they speak English too.
It's a little bit of a premium. I mean, that's probably one of the more controversial points that might come up. In fact, it's going to go up because I'm going to make it. Which is that as English or non-native Czech speakers, there's a premium to be paid. And sometimes it's double and triple what you would expect to pay. It's almost like you're being penalised for living here. Now, we pay our taxes and all that kind of good stuff in the regular way. Is it fair to say, and this might have changed since Danny and I started this, that over time it's become more of the norm to do business in other languages other than Czech, and therefore supporting expats is more the normal than doing it in Czech?
I think so. I think more and more,
Okay.
And I think the price should be the same whether it's in Czech or in English.
We're going to be friends. And of course, I mean, my view is, in terms of not discriminating, which of course is quite topical these days, it should be this way. Kind of flipping, so certainly proactively, there's a number of things I think that we can do, and I'm not suggesting that I've been an expert in doing these. When things do go wrong, it can be quite daunting to engage a lawyer because time's of the essence. Things have gone wrong. What can you think of a couple of things that would settle the minds of people that when they engage a lawyer when things have gone wrong? Like, first things first, do you just panic, or what do you?
Are there any portals out there where you go for easy access to who to call for this situation, who to call for that aspect of law? Because obviously there's different, your divorce lawyers, you got pest lawyers, you got Bob lawyers. Yeah. Is there easy access in the Czech Republic to go? that's a good fit
that's
for
gone
me.
wrong. I need that.
You know, so imagine I've just arrived. I'm starting my company. I've got no idea.
Mm-hmm.
What would I do? What would be the best bet?
I think probably just
Run.
use Google or like ask for recommendation. Or I know like British Chamber or British Embassy, they have some recommended law offices.
They do, yeah. Been a while
but
since.
I mean, like we offer, I think a lot of the other law offices do offer as well, like a free initial free consultation where we say, okay, we can help you with that, or if not, we have other law offices we can recommend.
I see. So you'd arguably use that free consultation to kind of frame what the problem is.
Yes.
Discuss an approach, that sort of stuff. Yeah. I mean, I
just search on Instagram. Now all the adverts are lawyers. I did it for hair transplants. I get 4 calls from Turkey every day. Stop it.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, somebody did say to me, and it was some years ago, that as you know, there's 10.6 million people in the Czech Republic, and proportionately, there's more lawyers here than there are. Now, this might have been a Prague thing, or it might have been a Czech thing. I don't remember. But any time I walk down the street, advocata, right, there's a lot of lawyers in town. It tends to make me think that everyone spends their time suing each other. Is that fair, or I mean, you've got a job for life? I'm guessing.
I think so.
I think you've got a job.
I think
for life.
people will always need lawyers, as they do need doctors.
And
so.
do you practice law on a pro bono or on a commission basis?
Yeah.
So if I come to you and I'm getting hammered up the Gregory by my ex-wife. I love my future wife.
Doesn't have an ex-wife that we know of.
Yeah, well, you know. Like and subscribe. Is there representation over here? Whereas, you know, I've got an SRO, I've got into trouble. Yeah. One of my vendors is suing me for something that's not correct. Yeah. I don't have the right legal representation, or I can't afford it. What would I do?
Yeah.
I mean, we choose pro bono cases, but it's only a few. But in this case, I think what we do is that we always say the price beforehand. So we would tell you this is the fixed
pro
price
bono.
for this.
It's going to cost you 400 grand.
Okay. No, I mean, I don't think I've ever had a pro bono. It's kind of nice. Well, on one occasion, and he or she shall remain nameless. And I said, let's meet for beers, and we went for dinner. And I bought the beers and the dinner, and then a week later, an invoice arrived, and it was for the 3 hours that I was at dinner with the person. So I was thinking that I was kind of friendly with said chap, and I was like, "You invoiced me for the dinner that I paid for," and that's just before we've engaged.
Now, can he use his Tinder for legal advice?
I might as well, and I could continue because actually that's a good point. People do turn to community. Facebook's not. You should never take absolute legal advice on social media. However, when people helping you are like Danny and I, and of course Eva, you and WC Khaled, who've been here for some time and have the experience, it may not be legally correct, but I'm particularly interested in this kind of how you support people in David say. I mean, pro bonos are probably charitable.
I always thought he was the singer of U2, but that's Bono. Pro bono. I'm not joking. You say pro bono, I think
for bono. Yeah.
I can't even think of one of the songs.
Exactly. And so I guess the message is we shouldn't be too nervous about engaging. There are more English speaking or non-Czech speaking
navigating,
lawyers. But navigating still
when
remains.
When you get into law, I mean, you know, I've had a couple of SROs, companies. Yeah. Kenny has. Yeah. You always, you know, get yourselves into challenges with vendors, and that's when you really see like the fangs of the law. You know, when it's going to a courts are very different than sitting down with a lovely lawyer like yourself, talking about the niceties. It's going to cost you $4 million. Yeah. But then you go into to the law, you know, the law courts. Yeah, and things change. Things get gritty.
So do you have experience with Czech being at the court?
Yeah. Can't say what, but yeah.
Well, I did stand in a Czech court and was.
But it's frightening. I think it's frightening even if you do it.
It was not the most pleasant day of my life, and I, of course, I had a translator, and it was court appointed, so they were prepped, and without giving away too many details, I had to go in and defend my positions. Now, my experience at the time with the lawyer that was with me was, well, he or she said nothing in my defence.
Nice.
And I ended up...
Hashtag cow.
Hashtag expensive. Yeah. Right. Hashtag, and by the way, hashtag lost that one. So I did lose.
Hashtag do you want to borrow my phone?
At the time, I wanted to launch it. But I ended up being told by the judge that you have to speak through your translator because the court had to be heard in Czech. But at the end, she said, I hear your point. I would expected your lawyer to have said more. And this kind of goes back to I have had really good experiences. The gooder experiences are when you're not in trouble.
Of course. This is all about being in trouble. Yeah, the good things are good.
But when you're in trouble and you really need the help and you need clear costs that don't right? And again, I'm sure things have improved. I certainly haven't been to court again. And by the way, I was prosecuting. I wasn't defending. I was taking somebody to court, and so I'm thinking that things have improved now. You're quite young, not to be ageism. I imagine.
Do you go to court? Do you stand up in court?
You do.
Law and Order, proper like.
10 years. He's been watching too much TV.
Well, that's the problem, because like people expect that the
Stereotypes,
Czech courts are like, you know, in American movies, which is not like that
No,
at
of
all.
course
It's more
not.
formalistic. So
Very much,
actually,
yeah.
like, of course you need to stand your position and you need to defend the client, but you don't need to put the show on, you know. And but actually, sometimes I go to the court on my own without the client. But sometimes when the client goes with me, I need to put the show on a bit more because the client expects it. Not that because it's necessary, but
So is that like moving your hair back?
Or
walking like Dolly Parton?
or more drama and more evidence.
I mean, I was in court once, and I was my own translator.
Yeah.
And I absolutely shit myself.
Yeah.
You know, you're there, and the I shouldn't really say it. I can't really say the one thing I wanted to say.
No, yeah.
But the residing judge, like stood up at the parapet, and his eyes just came over, and I was literally like going cold
Don't
sweat,
laugh, don't laugh.
laughing. Going,
And
yes, Your Honour. Midget.
No, yeah. And there's a story. There's a well-known lady who translates for a number of expats in Prague who happens to be a small person.
It just happens. Things make me laugh.
And
good or bad.
And she was absolutely fantastic in translating everything I said because I was getting a little bit angry, and I was warned in court to talk to my translator.
Have you lost the
on
case?
2 occasions?
Come on.
my colleague says we never lose the case.
You just learn.
It's client who loses. So.
Okay. So what was your biggest? What made you nervous the most? Have you had a really big case? You've gone in. You've prepped for it. And you've gone in, you've said, I can win this, and you've not, and you're like, shit, I want to be a gardener. I'm going back to gardener's world.
Yeah.
Go on, give us an example of
It'd be
how you
nicer
prep.
if you ask me about the cases I won rather than.
Tell me about the best case you've
No,
won.
no. There's a strategy here, Eva. We're
It's
gonna.
good-
Well, we
good cop,
we
bad
always
cop.
end on a good point. And I'll tell you what. You tell me about a scary thing, and
Well,
I'll tell
let's
you about another scary
rephrase
thing.
it. Ah! That's Hermes. Yeah, and it's not a Schneid. So tell us, I don't know. Tell us one of your proudest moments, and then we're going to go to what's one of the most I don't know defeatist moments. I say. I mean, you can't say.
And this is not in the Czech Republic. I'll give you my scary moment, and not court in this country. I have a bit of experience.
Go on, what's it like prepping? What's it like being stood up there, like the most powerful salesperson? I assume.
Well, actually, my worst experience was at the court when the client got us the case like a few days before the court hearing, and we wanted to ask to be adjourned, and the client insisted it has to happen. So
That's
I didn't have time,
Ah.
and I didn't have enough time to prepare.
Yeah.
But also, usually the first hearing it's very short. It's usually the judge would say, are you sure you can reach an agreement? So I thought, okay, like it will be the first court hearing. It'll go over quickly, and then, but there were actually 3 judges. No, and it's like, okay, we want to decide the case today. And that was very.
And did that go good or bad for the client?
No, that went bad.
That went south.
So he or she should have taken your advice and take the time to, because I'm of the yes. Court.
Well, how often do you get that? How often do you get? I mean, I know it's the client's right. You know, if I want to battle something in court, but you're there to advise me. How often do you get it that the client goes, "Nah, fuck you. I want to do it my way"? Is it often?
Not often, no. But in this situation, again, I would say no. We have to adjourn it. I don't have enough time, but based on this experience. But
then you should remember that, of course. I imagine when you have a court date, and you want to adjourn, you're going to wait another 3, 4 months, 5 months, 6. I don't know. Between
it takes. That's why he wanted to have it.
Well, which you can kind of understand if it's particularly painful now.
Well, I'm going through something now with my partner, and the other partner just keeps wanting it adjourned and delayed and delayed.
That's the way
because they're playing the game of whatever, hiding things.
Try and wear you down all that.
Yeah, trying to A to wear you down. B
That's
to
quite common
financially
strategy.
outdo you.
Yeah.
Mentally outdo you, but also try and cover their tracks. Bring it on. You don't know where I'm from, motherfucker.
And I said I would share a scary story. So in Scotland we have sheriffs. We don't have judges. We have sheriffs. All the hat, all the gear. Very nice. Now, I happen to be going to court to defend my position as a company director once upon a time because there was a case against me and I was defending. And I won in the end. However, at the point where your judgment was served, you have the dock.
Yeah.
Where all the murderers and all these. I was in there. That was a bit.
That tells you a lot about Kenny.
The case, and I can still remember the day. And my mother had flown in from Spain to be with me, and there was of course a journalist writing in all the shit bits. And my grandma found out I was in court because it was in the local press. And I mean, this is all public domain stuff.
Yeah.
I one of the first business I was in with a partner didn't go too well. It was loads of compelling reasons, but I had to go to court and defend my position, and I did. And we had loads of expert witnesses. And back to the point, cost a lot of money and took 11 months. No, maybe 9 months, I think, at the end. I don't remember. And when you want this done, you want it done.
Yeah.
So I can kind of understand when somebody wants to go to court, and they're not going to be. They don't want to wait, that sort of stuff. It's all very well in business, but if it's affecting you personally and it's something to do with, they would say, whatever it might be.
So you don't sit in a library with those little green lamps going.
It's not. What's that film?
Law and Order.
No, it wasn't Law and Order. That's a TV show. I was thinking Lord of the Rings, but that's not the one I mean.
My precious.
No, exactly. It wasn't that one. The other one where they've got. No, let's not go there, Kenny.
So what are your key resources when you're battling or you're fighting a case? What do you leverage?
It has to be very well prepared in writing. That's like the Czech court hearing is based on the written statements.
So it has to be contracts, right? Is this a good way to start? Right.
Yeah.
That's for firms.
That's the way how to prove. Because,
of course, sorry, we shouldn't dismiss personal circumstances.
And if you tend to be a foreign company, so it's an SRO, but you have foreign ownership, do you think that plays a part in something in terms of it's just the
harder
Czech Republic,
to defend or
fuck you?
Yeah, or easier to defend.
Do you think it swings? I mean, I don't believe that. I'm more Czech than I am English.
No, truthfully,
I've been here longer.
I've been in Prague
28
more
years.
of our adult lives than we have any other country. So we do know.
Like I say, when I came here, your dad probably still had a moustache. It was that long ago.
1971.
Yeah,
it's all right.
So if he's daddy, if you do have a moustache, I think they're fine.
And so we keep. And I'm conscious we're doing the same thing we always do, which is to make fun of serious matters, which is kind of what we've aimed to do a lot of the time. Yes, I mean any court should be very formal. It's there to make formal judgments. Give me 1 second because he's woke up.
He's doing this a lot now.
No, because actually Danny asked a very good question.
And we didn't answer it.
Foreign ownership of an SRO. And is the law equal regardless of who owns it, as long as it's a Czech identity, and that's probably a good
thing. As long as a Czech company.
Well, I mean, an SRO is an SRO. It's a Czech legal
entity.
So it doesn't matter who the Jednatel or whoever. Because I remember back in 96, 97, my first SRO, with my friend James Cragg. He's out there in the Cayman Islands, living it up in a Rolls Royce. Actually, he is. Actually, is. We started a software company for HR, and the Jednatel car, so the legal representative, had to be Czech. And at that time, sorry, Jitka, it was my ex, and she got bummed royally. It went south.
Yeah,
but that's not the case now, is it? You don't need legal Czech representation anymore.
No, I think it's maybe more difficult when you're opening a bank account if you don't have a permanent
stay.
Here.
Cheers, everyone. Yeah. I'm joking.
That's actually a good point. You can get the company, as far as I know, easier than you can get the bank account.
Yeah.
You turn up with a VPS and they go. I mean, VPS is the formal list of directors and shareholding. Yeah.
With the anti-money laundering regulations, this is more
it got a little bit harder. And I mean, I've got one SRO and I'm listed as the Jednatel, and I never had a challenge. But getting the bank account, you had to prove your inside leg measurement, what kind of car you drive, who your mum is. It was really quite horrendous, and that is because of AML and that sort of stuff. But
so go on. Sorry.
No, but to your question, it doesn't matter who owns the company, but in general, the court tends to decide more in favor of the employee, tenant, and consumer.
There you go. Do you hear that?
Employee, tenant.
There you go.
I mean, this is employee, company,
tenant being a flat or a building.
And consumer. Not the company. Okay.
Yeah.
Assuming that the employee A has got a case, because are they correct? Yeah. I mean. And the tenant, maybe they're complete arseholes. You never know, do you?
But they're considered a weaker party, so that's why, the court would be more likely to decide
it's more sympathetic towards that. I see.
Do you plant spy cameras and things? Well, in order.
MI5 shit. Yeah, no. Hang on, you didn't answer the question. And you still didn't answer the question. I love it. It's genius. Where'd you put the camera?
So
I know we've got 3, but
we've never asked this before. Here's what. Give us a day in the life. Give us a typical
day
in the life of a lawyer.
Pretend it's Instagram. Join me going to work.
Gardening gloves, covered in soil, with a pumpkin. Give us a day in the life.
No, that's what I love about it. Every day is different.
Every
case
is
different.
Is it really though? Because we used to say that we get the same different bullshit, sometimes different day. We know the phrase, but is it really like when you go to court? You be a little bit nervous in the morning. You have an extra coffee.
No, not anymore.
Gin and tonic.
No.
No.
On disco biscuits.
And is it when I'm trying to remember when I was in court? No, I was in my shirt and tie. Well, do you wear a robe?
Only if you go to criminal court.
Crown court.
Right. Okay.
It's like Crown court. Isn't it?
Mine was a
Magistrates.
civil case. Well, what there was, if I was making. No, it was a civil case, so it wasn't criminal. But and when I was in the Scottish court, the sheriff has all the gear. There's no guns involved. And there's no star.
It's a barrister in UK law and a sheriff in.
Yeah.
So the protocol. So you go to court and you're not nervous anymore.
No, not
No?
like if it's like a big case, maybe,
Yeah?
but little bit, but not
Okay.
anymore, really.
All right.
But I'm glad I'm not going to do English course. I went to see once, and with all the wigs and
Yeah, the barristers,
Oh,
the wigs.
Yeah.
if you want,
That's when you're in trouble. That's the trouble court.
Yeah.
That's the big
hang
court,
on.
yeah.
If you want a court experience, Glasgow or Manchester on a Monday morning,
Yeah.
and I'm not talking driving offences.
Yeah, there's more paparazzi outside the Crown Court in Manchester.
That's when the weekend people that have been out causing troubles they get banged up at the weekend, and then they go to the court on a Monday morning.
So we had something there, totally off tangent, but we're
Yeah.
going to ask it anyway, because we always talk about AI, artificial
Yeah.
intelligence. Now, talking contractual law, you're a lawyer, so in contractual law, you must see things coming across your table now with plagiarism or people using AI for their contracts.
Yeah.
Is that becoming a common thing?
It is becoming.
I got AI and I told you. He didn't want it. He did not want it. I knew I'd get it in. I'm having a dump.
Is it a good thing?
I think it's a good thing in general, but you still need to check the result.
Oh no, I mean I'm just going to say, and I forgot the phrase. Yes, AI has hallucinations,
Yes,
and it comes out with some spectacular nonsense.
Because I use it a lot, like for to prepare emails or to do some research. But I always check it.
Yeah.
And I was just researching some case, and I wanted advice from the AI, and it kept giving me like judgments, which I wanted to use. I was so excited; it's into my favor.
Well, it's better than an almanac. You're dead.
And then I actually was trying to research them, and they didn't exist.
Ah, okay.
So it spat out nonsense, and I see. See, yeah, that's dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
You could go to court. I mean, you're not going to go to court without verifying your sources, of course.
Yeah.
But your day to day, because I imagine court prep, legal prep is very document heavy, right? I mean, if I look back through my SRO files from all the ones I've had, when I had the business with him, we won't talk about. And it was all drafts and red line and I'm like, oh.
Is it still a lot paper based? Is it not more digital?
Yeah.
It's more digital, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can email the court. I mean, when you're preparing.
Yeah, you email the court, the barrister, using AI after a night out, but you don't check it. Dear Bob, I'm not fucking having that. I love Lucy, and I slept with her last night in a bathtub of whale milk.
Yeah.
Send.
Yeah. And I want my Ford back.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, you wouldn't. So I mean, it's all. The point is,
but it must help. It must help. I mean, massively when you consider the amount of research.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I mean, that's hence the question. Do you utilise? You do. You said you use emails, taking a bath, not taking a bath. That was the answer.
Yeah.
So scrap that.
So so AI helps but doesn't replace. So there's you're not worried about your.
No, I don't think it's.
I mean, you and I are never going to rely
But you
on
know
AI.
that AI created itself, so that's a concern.
Yeah, we have the working theory that ChatGPT is an example of AI 3.5
created itself.
It wrote 4 by itself. Because the time between releases got shorter and shorter and shorter.
So which
it learns.
Yeah.
So you might be screwed.
Yeah, AI.
And
So it won't be LA law. It'll be AI law.
AI
It's a
law.
TV series there.
Prague edition.
Yeah, AI law.
And then you'll be a gardener.
There's no.
No, so there's no AI is not posing a threat.
I like the loop. It's true. AI law featuring gardener.
Daffodils. So you and one thing I was going to say was obviously not worried about AI taking over. We do worry a little bit sometimes that AI is made project management managing what we do. AI is not going to do that. Even AI would have a headache.
Yeah, it can take notes for you, but
the productivity gains are there. That's clear, and it can help. I think correct me if I'm wrong. The end it can help be most helpful at is the proactive part. Document prep, contract prep, that sort of stuff. But when it comes to the exciting end, you really are going to need a fleshy person to help you. I see. Okay. So
I think every lawyer will have to use AI in order to be effective and catch up with the competition.
Did you see that?
It's not going to replace us.
One of the big companies, PwC, openly admitted that their associates were using it to increase the billable time to their customers. Now, if I was the customer, I would tell them to Foxtrot Oscar, and because there's no way I'm not paying for a person, right? If
It's basically just showing work output that's just been automatically generated.
Which is a level of efficiency. Don't tell them.
Well, I mean, lawyers, you bill by the hour, don't you? Is it by the hour or you do it
No,
Not
it's like
necessarily.
every second.
Expensive. Yeah, in general, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So give us your big triumph. How long were you in court?
Yeah.
What did you fight? How were you battled? Come on, we need to know something about
Save
you, not
the
just
dolphins.
Gardener's World. The Jolly Green Giant.
They made peas
Okay.
and corn.
Where do peas come from? A garden.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's so.
We might have to point you to what we're talking. Doesn't matter, please. Anyway, yeah, big successes. Come on,
Jolly Green Giant.
you got to show you.
Now, I've just looked because I watch a lot of Joe Rogan now, and he's got a researcher. Now, ours is pants. Because he's in the back looking at the size of Imran Khan's shoe. So the Jolly Green Giant was a product, was a brand of sweet corn and kukujitsa and all that shit when we were kids.
Yeah.
And he was a giant, great fucking pea,
Yeah,
made
yeah,
out of
yeah.
peas.
Made out of peas.
That's about as gardener as you get.
Yeah.
So there you go. And for everybody out there, it's a Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah, Jolly Green
And
Giant.
if you're from the UK or even the United States, I imagine, he was your pea man.
Yeah, and he had there was
I
an
didn't realise
advert.
that the internet works in there. The bunker's all right.
Yeah, well, we'll have to tumble up.
So come on. Anyway, we
Yeah.
keep. So now you give us your biggest triumph. What you're proud of in being a
Yeah.
lawyer. You're free to use your lipstick. Make it you can ask the audience, but your phone's buggered.
Or maybe you want to work on something, or what would you like your triumph
Yeah,
to be?
even-
We always like to kind of cruise towards big happiness. 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
I imagine the legal world's a little bit negatively exciting on occasion.
No, I think like it's just very exciting to like when client comes with the problem
Mhm.
to solve the case and like
And you're able to.
and like help him out, make him happy. That's what
Okay,
it's
in,
about.
in your field, in your industry, and unfortunately, we're project managers. We get paid that, and you're shit.
Well,
There's-
we know
as a contractor, there's no aspirations. You do what your job
Yeah,
is.
we
you get
essentially
paid.
handed.
But with yourself, is there other areas of law that you can move into, or have you got aspirations to go higher in law?
International.
I'm just making this up, so I've got no idea how the legal
I'm
system
happy
works.
with what I'm doing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm really content with that. So.
Okay.
Oh, well, there
Just
you
want to
go.
continue
Yeah.
doing
I mean,
that.
and it is quite nice to be content. I mean, I'm just thinking of
Jolly what?
Jolly Green Giant. You and I get handed somebody else's problem and told to go and unfuck that.
Well, that's what it
And-
goes.
and-
You get someone's problem, and it's you to go and either.
But if
Well,
you,
win it
how,
for
why,
them,
how
so
do we
it's-
get to be this happy? I want to be this happy.
Oh, wait until you've
I
been
just-
doing it for 30 years, and then come back on the show when we've got catheters and piss bags, and you're our age.
35 years, you and I'll be dead, and you'll be going, well, yeah.
But you'll never forget us for the Jolly Green Giant and lip balm,
Yeah,
dolphin friendly.
Dolphin friendly lip balm.
So what would be your advice to somebody, as you can, somebody looking to get into the field of law?
Yeah.
Just go for it. I think like it's really
Prague's an exciting place.
really exciting job.
Yeah.
Every day is different. I think you're gonna enjoy.
I just
it,
watched the Menendez brothers.
Yeah, on Netflix.
Yeah,
they
mate.
were proper naughty. You know the on Netflix series? There's two brothers that were very, very naughty.
Two brothers that killed the parents.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I
in,
didn't see that. I heard about it,
Late
yeah.
70s, 80s,
Yeah.
80s I think it was. And they nearly got away with it.
Yep.
But then
But
one
a
of the
really
brothers,
trivial
one of
reason
the brothers,
why.
clearly because he's a sociopath,
Yeah.
told their lawyer that they killed the parents, and the lawyer wanted to make money, so he sold it, or he gave the tapes to
Yeah.
the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So people are listening, especially now.
Exactly.
Yeah, so do you record everything with your client? I'm trying... Oh, who said I could be a lawyer?
And again, she didn't say
Well,
no.
as we said out there, there's a job availability for an Oracle AIM.
Yeah.
I want to be a gardener.
I know.
Let's be fair.
And I think to me, somebody in the legal profession that's as happy as you are, Eva, I think that's. I mean, most lawyers I know, they're not as relaxed, and I don't know why that is. I imagine maybe they're just looking at different people, all that kind of stuff.
So you work for this multinational law firm. And your areas of expertise are what? Everything within law.
No, not everything. It's mainly commercial law and
So mainly
commercial law.
down to companies and
Business to business, that
Business
kind
to
of
business
stuff.
mainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also do like brand protections, like registering trademarks.
Trademarks and
Jolly Green Giant. That's brand protection.
Yeah. Done a few of those.
So for anybody out there looking to start within this market in the Czech Republic or Central Eastern European market, then to go to you guys. And I assume that, because Kelly said so, then the details will be in the box down below. So if you are out there, you're one of our viewers, potential viewers, you know someone who's looking for some advice within the legal industry here in Central and Eastern Europe, then it's in the box down below, and just ask for our good lady,
Eva. Exactly. So we're going to wrap up because we
10% commission.
Yeah, and our sponsorship.
Yeah, Jolly Green Giant. Who makes
exactly.
Jolly Green Giant? Green Giant.
Did they not sell it? I thought it was.
It's actually the brand Green Giant.
Oh, there we go.
Well, fucking. Oh,
so while we're looking at
foods.
beans and peas, we're going to wrap this up. Eva, thank you so much for coming in. An absolute pleasure.
Thanks so much for your time. It's a pleasure to see you.
And for on next week's Nonsense Show on the podcast, we'll talk to a fact I forgot because Callan hasn't done the schedule again.
It's a standard.
Standard, exactly.
Again, like, subscribe, pass over to anyone. They go to the positions at estellagents.com who power the Info Matters podcast without a cat in it. It's good night from him.
And a good night from me, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.